it need, like for the kids should be, or actually the topic was this something of this like that our kids should be like raised in a segregated it in other ways they twisted it. But anyway, that we are so happy to see Sister Faiza, because she debated. So I will turn it to her and she will present. We'll have a debate of two teams. This is a parliamentary style debate, and I'll show you a video that will show what that debate structure looks like. But our journey started at 2001. We started with EPC. Then in 2005, we started the debate. Then started in 2008 or 9, we started the research program. And that research program, basically, it brings the high school kids. And instead of doing the research, some high school kids, they need the social hour. The school, they need that, some social service type of thing. So we thought that giving them exposure of the research, because my background is research, and I teach as well as I do research. So this is a skill that we thought that if we can introduce these things at early in the high school level. So mashallah, if you go to our website, then you'll see the topic that they deal with, and these are social community topics or social like issues, and they deal these things with the scientific way. So we teach them the basic scientific approach how to solve an issue or problem. So we started at 2009 or 10, and then recently last year we started. Now all the kids are in tech savvy. They like to spend more time on the computers, and you probably heard about the hackathon. So we started hackathon, and we did a hackathon this summer at ICM, and it was alhamdulillah, it was a success. So and it starts from the like first grade to high school, because our debate is for middle school and high school, but the EPC is for first grade to high school. So we want them to develop their skills, and these skills, the best way they learn, the way I understand that, if you want to learn the swimming, you have to put somebody in the water. So that's what we do, because the communication is one of the powerful things. And mashallah, last on Friday or Sunday, we had that LGBT topics. That was fantastic, mashallah, because it's such an informative session. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Brother Mobeen about that. So, this type of challenges our kids should be facing. Now, the two question is, how do we address our, how do we, place, like if we have a case, we have a point, how do we make our point when we are talking to somebody? And there are ways to do that. And those are the skills that we teach in the debate. And also when you are challenged with questions, how do you refute it? So without further ado, inshallah, Sister Faiza, you're here. Inshallah, you can start, inshallah. I know time is very short, but yeah. And this is the one, let me quickly go over it. This 3 minutes. You can prepare, inshallah. This is the one about compilation of some of the debates.
إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين.
Eloquence is a prized position in our faith, but it has become lost upon many Muslims. The Muslim Youth Debate Tournament, MYDT, is a project of the Mafek Foundation which aims to equip youth with the tools to engage in discussion through the art of parliament. Through coaching sessions and workshops, debate debaters learn to identify coherent arguments while studying fallacies and logical argumentation.
How is it efficient? We are limiting the people we can trade with. If you don't think like us, if you don't act like us, we're not going to do it. Not going to trade with you. That is basically what they're saying, and we're saying that's wrong.
They also develop skills such as lateral thinking, critical analysis, note-taking, and verbal delivery through both prepared and impromptu topics, which are given on the spot.
Recognizing something and then forgiving them is different than recognizing something and having a passive mindset.
Unlike other debate platforms, the MYDT encourages debaters to be themselves and not have to leave their religion out of the debate, providing an atmosphere in which they can grow and thrive because of their religious beliefs, not despite them.
Imagine yourself walking down a street and you're trying to get to one single destination. And as Muslims, our destination is, of course, the Jannah.
Youth are critical. You need to invest money in youth. You need to pull them back to Islam. You need to pull them back to Quran. You need to pull them back to the teaching of the prophets and teach them how to be a good Muslim and how to lead the ummah, how to put us back.
The Muslim Youth Debate Tournament has come a long way. It began with only 2 teams in 2005 at the MCC Masjid in Maryland and has grown to include over 20 middle and high school teams from DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Our debaters have advanced to other national competitions and have regularly been winners at MIST. Additionally, we have been able to bring our debaters to the national level, debating at the ICCL convention.
How is this beneficial for Muslims alone, for the Muslim population?
Our involved judges training has allowed the youth to benefit from a variety of judges who are former debaters, parents, and professionals that give feedback and insight to the debaters to help them better their skills. We have received requests from other states to bring this platform to them, and we hope to, inshallah, bring this forward.
Inshallah, our website is mafik.org. So if you have any, then you can pass it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So as Brother Sufis said that we've been doing this debate for now more than 15 years, and we've seen our kids grow. At this point, actually, most of our thing is run by children who have passed through our tournaments. So alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Now that we're here, I think, if I understand our purpose correctly, is to tell you what we do and why we do it and why we think that you should join our debate tournaments and put your kids into debate. So I think I'll start with a question. So just imagine, and maybe some of you have actually heard about this. Maybe some of you have heard this. So imagine that you are a trolley driver, driver of the train trolley, and you're driving on the train tracks, you're enjoying yourself, beautiful scenery around you, and then you see down the tracks there are 4 workers that are fixing the road. So you brake, but your brakes fail, and you're not able to brake. And so you're going down this track, and and for the sake of today, we're going to presume that all 4 of these workers are going to get killed if you smash into them. You try to honk, you're going 60 miles an hour. You're very stressed, right? I want you to put yourself in the position of the trolley driver. What are you going to do? You're on a train, right? You're on train tracks, you can't move. Suddenly you see there is a track that's going to the right. And you see along that track, there's one man working along that track. You have a choice. You can veer the steering and you can go and kill 1 man rather than 5. So I'm going to ask you guys. You have a choice. You're going, there's no way you're going to stop. If you go straight and do nothing, you will kill 4 people. If you veer to the right, you're going to kill only 1 man. What would you do? So if I can see that with a show of hands, how many of you would actually veer to the right and decide that I'd rather kill just 1 man? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a lot of you. So because you have a choice now, right? You're making a choice and you're deciding that you would. Let me ask you why. Why would you do that? Why would you veer to the right and kill that man? So you decided that it's better to kill one man than to kill four. How about you?
Better to only hurt one person's family rather than four.
So he's looking at it a little bit wider now. You started off and he's taking it further that it's not just one man that you're killing, you're actually hurting a whole family. So instead of four families getting damaged, just one. Who else raised their hand? Yes, madam.
Yeah, the view of circumstance, I know I cannot stop the train. So I'd rather kill the one than, four, not even four plus four. 4 times 4 is 16, maybe 20 family members instead of 4 members. So that's the reason I choose to zigzag left, right, try to kill the one person.
So in other words, what you guys are telling me is we would rather kill the innocent bystander who had nothing to do with it, right? He would not have gotten killed, but you actually turn and you actually kill this one person as opposed to those that would have gotten killed normally, right? He's an innocent guy on the side, yes? Does that make sense? We agree with that, right? Is everyone still agreeing with this idea that you veered off to the right and you kill somebody who would not have gotten killed normally? He's just on the side. Anybody change their mind? Yes.
Here we are not looking at the fact that he's innocent or not, because the 4 that are on the trucks are also innocent. They're not on the truck to be killed.
Mashallah.
So in order to reduce the damage, that's why we went that route. It's not like the alternative is bad, but the real thing is even worse.
So you're right, brother. So the brother is saying that all 5 are innocent, actually, and you just have a choice at this point. So let me change the scenario. So the train is going, and you're not the driver now. You're actually the bystander. You are on an overpass, and the train is going from under, and you can see both sides, and you see this train now, and you know it's going to kill these people. And as you're looking over, there's a man next to you who is a really, kind of a heavy-set man. And if you just, tip him over a little bit, he could fall on the tracks, stop the train, and 4 people will be saved. Would you push that man? Anyone push that man?
No.
But you would be saving those 4 people.
But you are a murderer.
But you're not a murderer when you turn the wheel and go to the right and kill the other man who wouldn't have been killed otherwise. Right? The man on the side was also innocent, like out of the picture, had nothing to do with it.
It's not your fault though, but once you push the guy, now you are active. You are an actor now because you're the one who pushed it.
That's good thinking. So I would have been out of the picture. I don't have anything to do. I had a chance to save 4 people and kill one, but since I'm not really part of it, why should I take that step to save those 4 people? Because it would mean I'd be a murderer, right? No. Fair enough. So this makes sense.
Not really, because if you see anything bad happening, we need to do something. From that hadith of our beloved Prophet.
So then you would push the man off.
If you cannot do it with your hands, you do it, with your voice. Maybe,
you scare the man and
should I turn it off?
Make some noise, scare the man, and have him tip over by mistake.
Pay attention maybe to the other 4 people that maybe are not paying attention, so that they can free the tracks.
So there is another opinion here that actually says that, it might make sense to have sacrifice 1 instead of, 4, right? If I take you away to a whole different scenario now, and this is what we're looking at while we're talking about this, what we're actually looking at is, what are you basing your morality on? That's what these answers are coming from someplace in our minds. We always have some premises from which we derive conclusions, right? So let me take you to another scenario. Let's say you're a doctor in a hospital, and 5 patients are brought in, and 4 of them they're all going to die. 4 patients, they're all going to die. 1 needs a liver transplant, 1 needs a heart transplant, 1 needs a kidney transplant, and 1 needs a lung transplant, let's say. And they're all going to die within the next day, 2 days, hour, and something like that. You're feeling terrible because you don't have those organs. Then the nurse comes and says, Doc, there's another patient in the other room. You go in the other room and there's a healthy 28-year-old man who has come to you with a headache. Would you say, well, you know what? Here's a sleeping pill. Put him to sleep, get his organs and save 4 people. And if you just get his organs out, you'd be saving 4 people. What if somebody did that? You guys are laughing. Is it funny?
That's not right.
But that's what somebody did, didn't they? When they veered the train, you guys were raising your hands at that time. Why are you laughing? Tell me, why are you laughing? Khadija? Your hand up? Come on, guys, say something. So the thing is, what we're looking at is 2 different kinds of thinking. There is the consequentialist who thinks that morality is based on the consequences of an action. Then you have, so what you're saying is it would depend on the consequence. In the first case, it was kind of an easier decision. A lot of hands went up. That, yeah, I'm driving the thing. Let me go this way. I'm going to save, 4 lives instead of 1, 4 families. So what you're looking at is the impact or the consequence of the action, right? Whereas in the last case, you're not looking at the consequence of the action. Even though this guy's only 28, he probably doesn't have kids and stuff. These people have families, and you'll be saving 4 people. Only 1 will die. But you don't, none of you raise your hands there, right? Because, why? Because it was just, in and of itself, this act was wrong. So these are the kind of things that debaters will do. Debaters will not just look at the thing that's on the surface, but they look at what's the premise, where's this coming from, what is justice in this case, what is when a person says a sentence, what are they basing it off of, what is their worldview, and they can see much beyond your average person, and that's what the best part that I like about debate is. What I love about debate is that subhanAllah, Allah has given us amazing minds, but we don't use them. And so what debate does is, it's like you're polishing those minds. You're tuning into so much that an average person doesn't tune into. So this is just a question that I didn't create this question. It's an age-old question the philosophers have been asking. But what I do want to say is that when we debate, and that's what today we're talking about is, why are we debating? So what I also did was I picked a few, I have a few debaters with me today that have gone through our debate. And I thought if you'd like, we could have them debate and you could watch a mini debate. But what I want to say is, before I let them come up, I want to say that there's a difference in debating and argumentation, right? So when you argue, you're talking back and forth, but there isn't a logic to it. You're not convincing people through rationality or logic. And to be very honest with you, whenever people sign up their kids with me to debate, they're all like, oh, we're worried, Sister Faiza. My kids already argues, and now what will I do if he's a debater? But after a year or 2, they never come back and complain, because the child has actually stopped arguing. They may have started debating, which is really good for both the parent and the kid, because you're now talking. You're actually rationally listening to people. Of debate and public speaking skills, you'll be able to refute, which is a very important thing. But and I only want to talk about this part, which is in your life. It's so helpful because, for one, you can always see the other side. You can give people, you're able to see how the other person is thinking, and you are able to defend the truth. You're able to defend your stance. You're able to present your stance in a way which is logical, which has backing, has reasoning, and you're not just throwing out something out there. So that's our main reason for debating. So I wanted to just, maybe we have some debaters here, and I wanted to see if you guys would like to watch a mini one. It won't be the whole thing. So if everyone's okay with that, are there any questions before that we can? Yes, brother.
Yes. Before we start, with regards to the
Sorry?
So with regards to the scenario question you asked, I want to know what is your answer and why?
About the questions I asked. So this is a philosophical debate that has been debated by philosophers. There's no way I'm going to go into it right now. If we have maybe 20 minutes, and
So they can give
So
There is no right answer.
so if I can ask, so
Yes.
in which side are you?
oh, that's what I'm not going to say. That's the part. But I do want to say that there are those that there's categorical reasoning and there's consequential reasoning. So consequential reasoning is when you make whatever the impact is what determines your morality. And there is categorical reasoning, which means no matter what the consequences are, like in this case of the doctor, you're saving 4 people, but you're never going to kill that innocent man and take his organs and give it to somebody. Never, right? So sometimes something is categorically. To answer your question, there are different. It's not a black and white. That every single scenario, just one thing will be there. But the reason I wanted to bring it up was because a lot of hands went up, and the reasoning they gave was, I'd rather kill one man who has nothing to do with this and save 4. But in the doctor's case, that logic didn't hold true at all. That's what debate is all about, actually. Because in debate, both sides have a reason, and both sides are able to argue. So that's the good part about debating. So and what we do, our job is not to solve problems of the world. Our job is to train the minds. So our job is here to train our youth to be able to think critically and laterally and think out of the box and be able to articulate their positions well and to refute.
So was the sufficient answer?
Yes, let's do that then. Let's do it. So I did not tell the kids any topic because I want to show you and demonstrate how our debaters work, like their quality, mashallah, because some of them have debated only for one season, but some are seasoned debaters. So I want you guys to pick a topic. So anyone wants a topic, debate it, pick it.
This is one of the things. You can have either topics or any topic. That is Sister Faisal.
Yeah, so when we give it, there's a lot of research to be done. But debate, the other part about debate, our style of debate is that we focus on the mind more than research, and stuff like that. So if anyone wants to see a debate, raise your hand. I'll take your topic. Yes. Wait, you're one of the debaters.
Safety.
Okay, safety about what? It has to be split though.
Just to make it easier, choose something that you
Something we've been practicing.
I mean, not
We practice
practicing, I'm sorry.
everything under this.
I'm sorry, not practicing. Something that you guys not ready for. Because he said it needs research, it needs
Yeah, no, that's what my point was. Actually, we don't do the research. I can give these kids a topic and they will speak 5 minutes straight without a problem. And they don't even know the topic from before. That's what actually our something we have to define. Yes.
Can I suggest?
Yes, please.
Are we will Muslim?
Okay, so let's have this topic. You guys up for it? We have some middle schoolers here. So the brothers talking about politics. And then usually when we give a topic, we give it against what our belief is. Yes. Okay, so just give me one. So I think we'll have so Khadija, Fatima, and Riyam, you guys can do one. And Abdurrahman and Hamza. And who's the third? Do we have a volunteer debater from here? Anyone? And Sumaya can be the other two. All right. But I think because I think maybe, is there any? You want to do it? Abdurrahman and Hamza are there. How about your speaker and then if you have 5, let's go. We're going to give them 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We'll have Hamza, you guys are position and you. Okay? Your opposition. So we have 5 minutes, yes.
You can talk a little bit about the parliamentary debate that we.
Let's they'll watch it though, right? So,
But in case, because we have three. Okay.
yeah, we have to. I just have something else in mind. Maybe we can do in the 5 minutes. So if I can get any 2 volunteers, otherwise I'll pick you. Volunteers. I want you to speak here. It can be adults too. I don't mind. It doesn't have to be the kids. It's not going to be difficult. It's very easy. Yes, brother? You want to argue? Okay, mashallah. One more. 2. What's the topic?
It's a training program. It will help you in the future. They don't have to write. Do whatever they say.
I don't know. Yeah, you can come up here.
Okay.
And I need one more person. Come on, one more person, please. Okay, you want to come? Okay. You stand.
I stand.
We don't sit when we debate. We stand. All right. So here's. Are you guys siblings? Are you siblings? Your friends, neighbors?
Yeah.
Okay. So since you're neighbors, let's say that I'm going to tell you a story. Okay. So what happened was this young man was around, walked up into your door, and he cut all of your flowers. What you've been trying in a vase in his home. All right? And you're mad at him. You're asking him to plant flowers in your home or pay for it. And you are never going to say yes, all right? And you're going to say okay. So just ask him and negotiate.
We can negotiate, but we can't agree to like one side.
You're going to refuse. I mean, you're debaters.
Okay.
You're not going to agree.
You that.
I wanted the flowers. They smell nice. They look good as well.
No, wait a minute. So you're not asking why, you're just telling him, give me the money. Demanding the money. Or demanding him to replace your flowers.
I won't give you money because you didn't spend security on protecting your flowers.
Well, you shouldn't even be on my property.
Is there a sign that says that I can't be on your property? Where's the sign? I don't need a lot because the flowers are not technically in your backyard. They were on that and what public property is.
Were you using my lawn?
I don't think that matters. I took the flowers, not the.
Hey, buddy. Part of the flower.
But I didn't take the roots, so you have the roots. You can have the roots.
That's like you cut my head off and you took it home.
Okay, and?
It's not right, man.
Well, I mean, if you want the roots, you can have the roots, but the flowers aren't yours since they're not in your lawn.
No, that's not.
I don't have a solid argument to my argument.
Yeah. Just keep going. Let me see. Something else. Come on.
Oh,
you guys
flowers. You can't take anymore.
Sure, you give me more flowers than the flowers on top of the flowers you took. No.
What am I supposed to say to that? I'm suing you.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Well, the flowers weren't technically since I have possession of them now.
Stop saying that, man.
All right. That's great. No, okay. That's perfect. Thank you so much for that. So what I was trying to what we saw just now was people with two differing opinions. Like one person wants to like he believes that he has a right for the person to replace the flowers, and that person is refusing. And if you notice, there's a lot of arguments that came in there. One was they're not your flowers anyway because they were hanging over into my yard, right? And now the debate is going into if the roots are in this yard, are the flowers or not? So one of the brothers, the one in black, he came up with a great example. He came up with an analogy, and he said, "You cut my head off, right?" And then this analytical thinking, right? So as answering, he comes up with that. Then you go on, and then he starts threatening him. So he's threatening him. And what is it when you threaten somebody? You're threatening somebody, you are showing the consequences of that action. So he will sue you. So now he's showing the consequences of that action. He's talking about, you didn't have a sign there, right? There was no sign that said no trespassing. So he about, is there a legal place, have a legal to say why he's defending himself like that. So this is, of course, this was a back and forth. This was a real life thing, and the real two neighbors were arguing this. Do you think they would go back and forth so much? They would have probably punched each other by now, or they would have actually gotten sued. So the point is, you actually think about, okay, what else? Like the kid was saying, what else can I come up with? Like he's thinking his point, and that's what debate does. This was a tiny example of just a little argument, but what debaters will do is they will look at, he came from one way, another way, and then when he was stuck, so let me not just say whether it was right or wrong. Let me say I just wanted to show how the kids were preparing. So that's how arguments kind of develop, and I think that's all. I think the kids, guys, we'll pull you up in a minute, okay? Yes. Yes, bro, sure.
I just want to know, that's what I know. I'm speaking out of my own person.
If we can keep it down, then you could hear the question as well. Yes.
It wasn't clear to me, was that a Western debate? Or was that a Muslim debate right there, what we just had?
That's actually
like a Western mentality debate? Or was that a Muslim debate right there? Because this is very important. Because with the debate I just saw, it has missed all of we know it was example, just an example. But what I saw, it has missed the teachings and behaviors of the
I understand that.
Are
you talking about just the interaction or the arguments given?
The way they approach each other?
Right.
Like the teaching and the behaviors of Islam? None, zero.
So you're talking about.
I would like to focus on the teachings and the behaviors, like put it on those youth before they leave that type of debate. So when they debate, they take that into consideration.
Right.
I hope my point is
So let me see what the brother has to say, and then.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with the brother.
We have a debate.
On his comment. What I observed was a debate between two Muslim kids. The only spoiler is they are neighbors, they know each other, they laugh with each other. But like you gave an example, nobody threw a punch. Nobody said, if you don't do this, I'm going to do such and such and such. They were playing, they were looking for what to say next. So I really don't see, I see a lot of Islamic behavior, Muslim behavior.
So, yeah,
So if he's talking about, if the brother respectfully again, if he's saying, I did not see a character of a Muslim kid, in my thinking, sitting here, because I have taught in the school system, I have taught other people, other children who are not Muslims, how they debate, how they fight among themselves. I didn't see with these kids.
So just to go back, take a step back, and what I would like to say over here, which is very, very critical actually, is
Sister Faiza, you have only 30 minutes, so what you want to do?
yeah, let me just finish this and then we'll start. So what I wanted to say is this. When we are debating, and this is for both, especially the brother who began, when we are teaching debate, we are not here to, it's not, the point that they're arguing is not critical, right? It's a point we give them, like we just gave them a topic right now. It's not about us actually finding solutions to that. We are practicing the skill. We are sharpening their minds. That's our goal. Our goal is to sharpen their minds, sharpen their way of speaking. That's our goal. It's not necessarily to, practically solve any problem. And like you said, it was an example. Now the question about whether this arguing with each other is Islamic or not, right? That I would say there has all of our scholars debated in the past. Our scholars had amazing debates. Respectfully, they did it. And that's what we're going to teach. So what we teach in it, we do teach the Islamic part. We do teach that they should back everything with evidence. They never have to raise their voice. They don't have to be rude. They can't be obnoxious, right? They have to be respectful. And they have to logically prove themselves right. Topics, this is critical too. It's very important too. We never give topics where something is clearly one side is Islamic and one is not. Like we will not give a topic like, it's good to punch somebody. Or, our topics are always a topic which can have two opinions. And even though I personally may think something is totally right and this person is wrong, the other person, if it is within the fold of Islam, can definitely say that person can have a different opinion. And I should be able to respect it. And actually debate actually does teach us to actually see the other side. They might be saying the same thing, have refined it, and it would become a debate. And inshallah, just like you saw in the video as well, what we do is Islamic stuff is very important for us. That's why we exist. Otherwise, they could do their debate in public school.
Yeah, I agree. Alhamdulillah, that was a good example there, but he just said something in real was an example. And correct me if I'm wrong, I heard like, if you don't remove that flower, you keep my head or something.
So what he said was, one kid was saying,
maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, maybe, because one kid was saying, I only took the flowers off, you still have the roots and the stem. So the other kid is saying, it's almost like, what if you take my head off? Then would you say, he's giving an analogy of the flowers with the roots and this. So it was just an analogy. Maybe that's why you felt it was, that's probably what it was.
So that statement itself, I guess it's gonna lead to an argument. So.
Well, it didn't, alhamdulillah. So it was good. Okay, I think we're ready for our debaters to debate. You got more time than we were supposed to give you. You guys want to come up here and debate? Yes. Yes.
You want to debate?
Oh.
You have to join the people.
Ask my kids. My kids will tell you I don't always tell people who. I would have to sit and look at every argument. Okay, you guys are ready? So you are proposition, right? Your proposition, opposition? So alhamdulillah, may Allah, give us all the hikmah to do things in the right way, and I pray for us before anybody else. But let's start the debate with, I think I'll sit here, I was going to go there. So I call upon the first speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Topic before the House today is that Muslims should not enter politics. Is that it?
Muslims must not stand in the presidential.
Okay, president. Muslims should not stand for elections.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I want to tell you guys. This is not their opinion, so please don't get on their cases. These are children. We gave them a topic, so please don't get upset with them. They had 5 minutes to come up with stuff. So, please.
It's U.S. elections.
U.S. elections, yes.
Okay, U.S. elections.
So I called on the first speaker, Hamza. So we all do like this, by the way. Here.
Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Joshua, and I'm the first speaker of the proposition for the topic Muslims must not stand in the U.S. elections. And so the first reason why Muslims should stand in the U.S. elections is that the way our representative party system works is that when you run with your party, you're supposed to, because you're a representative, you're supposed to embody all the views that the party has. So, for example, if you're running with the Democrats, then you're going to be forced to take up all the Democrats' views about stuff that Islam may not always agree with or be on the side of for issues like abortion and stuff. You may have to take up a side that you may not necessarily believe in, which would cause problems with your deen. Also, if you're and then so it's just like these issues would happen with both parties, right? So if you're with the Republicans, then those would also have their own set of parties. So the first main point is that it could force you as the representative or as a person standing in these elections, especially becoming earning these places of power within the government. Would when you end up earning these places of power, then it leads to a lot of lying in these positions. You're not always able to tell the truth to the people that you're supposed to be telling the truth to. They're relying on you to tell the truth to them, and this causes lots of problems. Not only is lying to people who believe you're supposed to be telling them the truth a big issue, but it's also something that contradicts directly with our deen. Lying is a big sin, and it's not something that we should be doing often, or even something that we should be doing at all.
So are you saying whenever somebody goes into politics, they lie all the time? Every person in politics right now is lying? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're always gonna lie every single time they enter politics, but I'm saying that. I'm saying that it's more common than not. It's more common than it is not to. It's more common to have to lie in those places in the. Yes.
So that's the reason why Muslims should go into politics, because if you don't go, then that's what everything will become like lies with them. But if a Muslim goes into politics, they can show people against them.
I don't know if you can share the mic.
You cannot hear.
You cannot hear.
I can hear them. But
if you can share the mic.
Can she say it louder? Go say it louder.
That's the point. If Muslims go into politics, then they can show against lying, and that's the point of politics.
Okay. So for anyone who couldn't hear, their point was that it's you want Muslims in politics. You want Muslims in the politics because then it could prevent when you end up earning these spots and stuff, then that's not what you think. Entering is not always going to be the case once you're actually in it. And there's been even in the school board, which would be kind of a relatively small position, and we have these type of things before it happened where in Ashburn, some of the people that ran for Democrats ended up having to go against their beliefs, and they had to sign the rules which allow transgender people to use any bathroom they want.
So what you witnessed here was, these are called POIs, or points of information, when one of the opposition can get up and interrupt at any moment. When they do that, it's not, it's up to the speaker to either take them or decline. But at least I'm just explaining what you just witnessed. And I call upon the first speaker from the opposition, Fatima Ahmed. Just want to say that this is middle and high school combined here, so some of these kids are middle schoolers. Just to let you know, middle school means 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. So some of these kids are really young, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum. The topic for the house today is Muslims should not stand in U.S. elections. I'm going to start off by repeating their points. So first I want to say that they basically just have one point, is that you're forced to go against what you believe in. That's basically their overall point. So what we want to say to the first point was that they said you have to stand by things you believe in when you choose a party. You can make your own party. You don't have to, you're not supposed to go to Democrat or Republican Party. That's what part I'll elaborate on more in my points, how we need to bring Muslim, that's why we need Muslims in politics and stuff. The second sub point was that you'll be forced to sign things they don't believe in, and you'll be forced to lie. So that's our point, is that, as I said in my POI, that's why we need to bring Muslims into politics, so we can condemn those things and make sure they get out. Our first point is that we need more Muslim representation in politics, because if we don't have any Muslims in politics, then what do they have to know about Islam or Muslims at all? All they have is the news and the media and how they're representing us right now, which is not at all what Islam's about. And so if we keep having that, then they're not going to know anything about Islam and will be misrepresented. Yes.
So, organization to try and bring more information to uneducated people who don't know about our deen.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. But right now we're talking about in politics, and so you can do that through politics. One of my next points is about dawah, that how much dawah can bring if you have a Muslim in politics. It'll show people about Islam what they didn't know, and about they don't know. There's nothing to go against what TV and the media is saying right now. So if someone runs in politics, they will know otherwise, and they'll see what Muslims do and what Muslims are like. And so you don't have to make a dawah organization, because that party can be your dawah organization. So it can be like a 2-in-1 thing. As a person runs and stuff, more and more people will know about Islam. More and more people, which leads to my second point about dawah, more and more people will start knowing the truth about Islam. And right now, there's like so many atheist people are turning away from Islam, from all their religions and stuff, and because no one knows what to believe, going to atheism and stuff. Because, but they're still like thirsty for God. They don't need religion, and that's why so many bad things are happening right now. Because everyone needs religion, and it's hard to survive without religion, and so that's why we're going to need to do this, because so we can show them what Islam's about, and so they can find Islam.
Jazakallah khair. I now call upon the second speaker from the proposition. Is that Harun? Dawood. Sorry. Forgive me.
So, to your first point, in some cases you still will be forced to lie. You said that you don't always have to lie, but in some cases you will be forced to lie. The amount of money spent on a whole new campaign is a lot of money, and that can be used to put in like Islamic relief or something like that, and that could help eliminate hunger in many places around the world. And it's been a very long time if they haven't been long. It is also unrealistic to make your party a form of dawah. It's gonna lower the chances of you being elected, and because people are just gonna there's some no-name person from nowhere running for whatever you're running for. Then
you're not going to tell everyone that your political party is a dawah organization. Be like, hey, we're actually a dawah organization. That makes no sense. The reason why it's we're saying you can do dawah is because through your actions they'll know about Islam. So that's what the form of dawah. We're not going to make it a dawah organization.
True, but they're gonna be some. You're not gonna get what you're running for president. Not many people are gonna vote for you, because there's some no-name organization or no-name party. Is it better to have a Muslim leader forced to lie, or having $10 million that could eliminate hunger in many places around the world? To be forced to lie and indirectly kill Muslims around the world. For example, in Palestine, the U.S. government supports Israel. And if you, for example, were elected as president, then if you're elected as president, then you would be forced to give U.S. money to Israel, and that is indirectly kill Muslims.
Sister, can I make one comment before you go?
Let him finish.
And without U.S. money, Israel would not be where they are today. Your Muslim brothers in Palestine would be able to live a good life.
Good point.
And as you know, we just pulled Dawood out of the audience. But brother, I won't allow you at that time, but right now we need to keep the momentum on. Second speaker from the opposition, Khadija Ahmed.
Okay, so I'm the second speaker of the opposition. I'm going to start by refuting the proposition team's points. So their main thing is still going about how you'll be forced to do things you don't believe in, support Israel, all that. So the thing about supporting Israel, number one, by living in this country alone, you already agreed to support Israel because our taxes go to Israel and everybody knows that. It's not really a secret. So we're already supporting Israel. Yes, maybe a political party will do that more, but maybe a political party will do that more. But our point is to make a political party that does not align with the bad morals and bad ethics that are coming up and that are now becoming America. So we want to make something new that is American Muslims that represent Muslims and also represent the good parts of America. So they talked about, we can make our own party. So also they said, they keep saying that we'll be forced to do things, but again, to our point, we can make our own party, we can change things, and that's what I'm going to be talking about, how we can change America by going into politics. There's no way we can change America unless we go into politics. Just by doing in our actions will obviously help that, but we need to also go into politics to do that. So my first speaker talked about representation and dawah. I'm going to be talking about how we can help change the United States for the better. So right now there's a lot of bad things happening in the U.S. as everybody knows. Many things are happening and it's like everything is going downhill right now. And it's a really bad place for Muslims right now to live in this country. But of course we're here, so we need to do something about it, and we can change the things we see. So many people in America right now, Christians. There's a lot of good Christians. There's a lot of people who do have morals shared with our Muslim morals, but they don't come out and say it because they'll be canceled by the rest of the people. So if we make that safe space for we're not saying make a Muslim, have a Muslim run for president and then only Muslims will vote for them because there's not enough Muslims to make that happen in America. Of course, the number is growing, but it's still not enough. So, but other non-Muslims will agree with the morals that Muslims have, and they'll also step up and they'll also vote. So a lot of Christians believe that you need to cover your head. A lot of Christians believe no drinking alcohol. A lot of Christians believe that a lot of good things that Muslims believe in. So they'll agree with a lot of the things that our moral hypothetical president will be talking about, and they'll vote for them also. And this will again bring representation, and also we can change America by this. So so we can help change the United States for the better. So now I'm just going to go over my points again. So our first point about representation, about Muslim population is growing in America. People are converting, people are coming from overseas here, Muslims, and the population is growing, but we don't have representation in government. So we need representation, and with that, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Now we call upon the third speaker of the opposition. And for those who are curious, we allow the third speaker of the opposition to go first because the burden of proof lies with the proposition. The burden of proof is with those who are affirming the topic. They have to prove. These guys only have to deny them. So because they have a tougher job, they get the first and the last word. And so the speaker, these are the rebuttal speakers. They don't bring anything new. They only wrap up the place and refute. So I call the third speaker of the opposition, Mariam Barazi.
My name is Mariam, and I'm the third speaker of the opposition, and I'm going to start off by repeating everything that the proposition said. So the first thing that he said is that when you when you have a political party, you're supposed to agree with your party because you're forced into lying, but lying is like a sin. You're not supposed to lie, and like a party, you're allowed to disagree. Forced to believe in stuff that we don't want to believe, which isn't completely true because you are allowed to disagree in your political party. My first person of the opposition said that Muslim representation in our party. Without Muslim representation, Muslims will be shown as weak, and the stuff about Muslims and good things and morals about Muslims won't be spread out into the world. And having Muslims can really help basically the world. If no representation, everybody will listen to the TV and media isn't giving us like a good representation right now, and they're bashing us and saying bad things about us. And lots of people who don't know the religion and like people like atheists and coming out on like the scene. But if there's Muslim representation, then they can look and Muslims can look at this religion and maybe think about like converting to Islam. She also had another point about dawah, and if people see Muslims, they'll know that we're good and like we have like a good representation of good morals, and it'll show people what like good things. And in some cases, you won't be forced to lie. You aren't always forced to lie, and it's basically dawah and how basically if without Muslims, then nobody will see how good we are. The second speaker of the opposition said that it's unrealistic to make your party like a dawah representation. And as my first speaker said, you're not going to come out and say that your party is like a dawah like community representation thing, as you're going to have your own republic and your own party, and when the actions that you make and actions that you do is going to show that you're representing Muslims in the dawah. My second speaker of the opposition said that by living here, we support Israel, basically. And as the second proposition said, like the Muslim Representation Party is basically giving something supporting Israel and Israel. But by living here, you're basically supporting Israel, and it's not like everybody knows it. And that's why we need our own party, so Muslim like representation, basically. The Muslim. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much. Last speaker today is Abdurrahman.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to start by refuting the opposition's points. So they had their points about more representation, and they had one of the refutations. They said, we're already supporting Israel, so let's support them more by joining this and going more. They said we're already supporting, so we're trying to say if the amount that we're doing, we need to stop it at this. Don't go into politics where you're forced to physically contribute the money. Say you're elected as a tax collector or something else where you're actually getting the money. You shouldn't be the one to actually distribute it. If because you're in this country, you're forced to give the money, that doesn't mean we should try to help them even more than they already are being helped. They had these great ideas, these whims about creating their own party and then winning all the elections and giving good representation. But how often has the Green or Independents or any of these other parties been elected in all these elections? That's one thing. And then these parties have been around for hundreds of years. Starting a new party in this century and hoping that we'll be able to get fast is so unrealistic. I agree that it'd be really great if we could get there, do all this without lying, even though there's so many case-sensitive things that you can't disclose to the public, and when asked, you may be forced to lie about. It would be great if you didn't have to lie. It would be great if you didn't have to support Israel at all, but it's not realistic. They've given us a lot of good ideas, but they're not realistic to do. On their side of the debate, they're talking about getting representation in Congress or representation in the government and still going and getting the sins of lying or the sins of supporting abortion and other problems that we do not believe in. They're saying that we should go and get more representation instead of protecting ourselves from sins. And there's so many other ways to get dawah across. Instead of, for example, creating a party and hoping you might get elected and then giving your dawah by showing how great of a person you are, which is already very unrealistic to even get elected in a brand new party showed up out of nowhere. why not create some sort of like news channel or something which people are already being influenced by in the wrong way? You can try to influence them in the right way, or something that's more realistic than trying to create your own political party and actually competing with the Democrats, Republicans, which have been here for so long and are like already the only ones that are getting nominated in the elections. So to summarize this debate, on our side, we're saying save yourself from the sins and act in more subtle ways. And on their side, they're saying spend a lot of money making your own party, campaigning on a thing that you will most probably not win in the end, wasting so much money where it could have gone to humanitarian aid and saved yourself from the sins at the same time. So for these reasons, that's why Muslims should not run in these elections. Thank you.
I have to say that, considering they just got the topic, and I wanted to thank my debaters for actually coming with me. And especially, I want to thank the one that we pulled out of the audience, mashallah, for doing this. So what you witnessed is what it looks like. Of course, they're not in their element. They haven't been debating all summer. So when they're even more dynamic. But as you see, they come up with refutations. Even when somebody interrupts them in the middle of a speech, they're able to respond and they don't get nervous. And so they have. This is what we're trying to do. This was a short sample. They were not, able to speak for the. Usually we give them a little more time. So what I wanted to say, if we want to have these people, if we want to have our children be able to think properly, and you see this topic, it had two sides. You can see whatever points they were bringing are valid points. What they're bringing are valid points. So it's about what we teach them is not whether or not the points are valid. But the point of our debate is to teach them how well to articulate. Who is able to persuade better? That's what we're looking at when we're looking at a debate. So since this was a sample debate, I think we'll have, by a show of hands, decide who the winner of this debate is. So whoever thinks that the proposition won the debate, that's the boys, please raise your hand. I can't see. Let me just. 1, 2, 3, 4, quite a few people. I might have to count this.
If people don't vote, it's for us.
Let's see how many think the opposition won this debate.
People don't vote.
Okay, the girls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I think it seems like the boys won the debate. But as you can see, mashallah, as you can see, we still have people who think the girls won the debate, right? So this is the whole idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us different. We are different, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I always feel that he had Umar and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhuma. He never told either one of them you're wrong, right? He never said no, you're wrong. He may have stopped Umar radiallahu anhu from chopping someone's head off, but he never told him change your personality, because we are different, our minds are different, our thoughts are different, and we appreciate each other. One thing I want to say before the brother I think left who wanted to say something. But one thing I wanted to say was that if ICCL would like to participate in debate, what we need is we really need one or inshallah more than one person who can take this up, who believes that our children need this, and that's all you need. You need to have a desire to give. I'm in the wrong. This is how it should be. So we need to have a desire to give and teach our children how they can stand up. Times are getting tougher before they get better. We are in a position where we're really going to be put to the test. And may Allah preserve us. And it will not be our physical strength that will carry us through these tough times. It will be our spiritual strength. And if we cannot speak and articulate ourselves, then we will not really be able to. So if someone can has the interest, Mafik is here to support you. Mafik will train your coaches, train your people who are there. It's Sister Shireen.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. What's the process of forming team or team?
So basically, if you are interested, you just within your community, you advertise and you get your students, you recruit your debaters. And we are on Mafix, and we'll provide you with material. We even have workshops where we train the coaches as well. So we'll be with you all along. Of course, we do believe, I am a strong believer of the idea that the tournaments are important. But even if you don't want a tournament, you just want to have little debates, that's fine. But representation in the tournament is about group time. So it's very important that, and at that point, we'll help you. We're there. We're there. You want to close? Thank you very much, Jazakallah khair.
Inshallah, there will be pizza. There will be pizza after Salah. Jazakallah for all the debaters who came out, everybody else who came out to watch and listen. And Jazakallah for the guest speakers as well. And alhamdulillah, نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئاتنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. جزاك الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you so much.
See you all after the Salah, inshallah.
Is there
You guys did a great job.
is there any like LD debate at Moffitt?
Is there anyone?
Lincoln Douglas or solo debate?
So this one, this is there is a